to This Week in Geek. It is October 10th, 2016. I'm Rob Southgate. With me is...
Alil Kanitsa.
And Christoph.
Hey, guys. I thought I was going to have to pull up the Alil Pumper there for a second. There was such a long pause. So, here we are. I have done no homework. There's been a ton of news, as opposed to the last 2 weeks where there's been nothing. So, who wants to start?
I don't know if I'd say there's a ton of.
Well, I'm thinking New York Comic Con. I keep seeing things come up from that.
Right, but it's
kind of the old stuff.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there wasn't anything that like I saw that I was just like blown away by. We did get some trailers.
Yes.
So I guess since you guys are a little older, and I'm also in that category here when it comes to the Power Rangers. Oh, we got the Power Rangers trailer.
Okay. I want to talk about this trailer for a second. Did you guys both watch it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I watched the first half of it and got so bored I turned it off. I was just like, okay.
How do you get bored in a trailer?
I'll tell you how. Nothing was happening. I was like, this seems dumb. I just had zero connection to it, and I just kind of turned it off and went to something else, and I was like, wow, I just turned off a trailer. Was that a weird reaction to it? I mean, is it good?
From what I'm hearing, I mean, my the League of Geeks fan base skews a little younger than you guys. And Steve, who's on my show, loved it. He actually really liked it.
Okay.
Was
he going to love it no matter what?
No, I don't think so. Because I think there's the nostalgia factor, yes. But I think, the posters and a lot of that stuff that's been coming out, he's been kind of on the fence for it. I mean, he wants it to be good.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's just like, we all would want what we love to be good. If there's a Ron the Space Knight movie, no matter what that trailer is, you're going to love it, but you'll be honest with it, hopefully.
Oh, I'll be totally honest with it. Because, you know what? I want it to be cool and everything, but, it's kind of thin. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like, I'm watching. It kind of felt like one of the episodes all kind of like dressed up.
Well, I mean, they changed some of the classic origins of the characters. I mean, they're kind of now super powered.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's different. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's clearly different. The suits kind of seem more organic. I don't know. I mean, I thought that the trailer wasn't bad. I wasn't bored by it. I was just curious. I mean, there was one scene in the trailer where I kind of rolled my eyes, and that's when they were testing out their powers and jumping over like a little canyon.
Yeah,
and it looked really bad. And I was just like, I kind of hope that they either fix that CG or something else happens, or they just cut that completely out.
Yeah, dumb.
So,
I don't know, Chris. You're not saying much. Do you think it looks cool?
No, I think it looks like a Twilight episode, but they're doing, it looks like all the rest of that stuff. But who knows? It could be okay. I mean, it might be interesting to see. I was never a big Power Rangers fan, so maybe I'll spend some money and go see it and eat some popcorn. But that's I'm not really tied into it, so I have no preconceived notions about it. Yeah. I just didn't think it was that exciting. I thought for what I saw was kind of okay, but it looked kind of like a lot of other things that we've been seeing. So
yeah, I don't know. I just kind of found it a dull entry point. Like, maybe that's just it. Maybe what we needed to see for me personally.
Again, I don't think it's made for you.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's okay.
If we had started out with like action and we saw that it's not going to look like the TV show, and we got some big sci-fi stuff going on, and then it went to the kids, I think I would have been grabbed a little bit better. But by having it like this beginning, like, we're watching them at Bayside, and ugh. Yeah, didn't do it for me.
Who was Edward Cullen in this one? I mean, you know what? I'll be honest. The way you had kind of explained it, and I didn't know that they're having superpowers. Maybe that'll be a unique way for it to enter into it, and maybe I'll like it when I see it. I'm not overly excited about it. There's way more going on than Power Rangers for me. So I mean, with Rogue One coming, I think Doctor Strange is going to be unbelievable. All the stuff that's coming out for all the franchises that are existing. To me, it just seems like another thing to just watch. not to be involved in. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this comes out kind of in a dead period for next year, so it might be. I mean, I believe it comes out in March. So I'm trying to think of the releases that are coming out. I mean, so you're a couple months before. You're several months after Rogue One, and you're a few months before Guardians and the summer movies. So I mean, it might fit that right sweet spot. I think if it's right, I think it's March.
yeah, it's coming March of 2017.
Yeah, so it might fit a spot where it'll make some decent money, a la the first Hunger Games, I think, came out in March and had a huge run.
I don't think this is going to have that same, though. Do
Yeah,
you?
it's in between Marvel
we might be wrong, because maybe it will.
It's not going to be $400 million. It's not going to be that.
But it's still huge with younger people.
Right,
Parents
and
will
it's
take
still
their kids
on
to
TV.
it. And
Yeah.
guys like Steve are going to want to go to it. So maybe the audience for this is a lot bigger than we anticipate. And even something mediocre could pull in some big coin.
And they probably don't have to make a ton to make it work. Yeah, I don't know what they're spending on it, but maybe they can get away with it.
I think the budget's going to be pretty big with the Zords and everything. It's not what that first one, the first movie they did with Ivan Ooze and stuff. It's not that kind of budget.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going legit here. So if I had to say, I think the budget will probably be in the $150 million range.
Huh. Wow.
The 1995 movie was $15 million.
Well,
So-
and maybe by the time this comes out, it'll own us, and we'll just be like, "This is the greatest thing ever." Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll own us. I mean, I might enjoy it. I doubt I'll be owned.
Right. Okay.
I
So
doubt
you won't be
because I've
owned,
got-
Alil.
I'm a month or 2 months from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and that's what will own me next year until Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, there's some good films coming out in the next little bit. So I can't find a cost on it or an estimated cost on it online. So
Yeah, you probably won't because they're not done. I mean, that's the thing that there's
people don't have a
probably
budget
an
at least. Usually they'll come up with something. So it could, if it's skewing younger and it's getting the younger kids in between, then that's awesome, and I think that's good. And there's a lot of money there because they've spent a lot of money in these action pictures of these Marvel superhero pictures to do a lot of skewing older. I mean, Deadpool. Deadpool was not a kids movie, obviously, because of the R-rated. So I'm okay with them giving something that's going to draw some kids in. It's okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that, and I mean, you're going to need that audience to bring back that kind of budget. I mean, Deadpool was different, and Deadpool's budget was $60 million. So $60 million, you're pretty confident with a superhero movie of modern day that you can make that back. $150 million, you need to skew younger. Ant-Man skewed a little younger than other Marvel movies. I mean, I believe that was PG, not PG-13 even.
Great.
What?
I said, and it did great with that.
Yeah, and it did. So, I mean, we'll see.
Let's see. What else do we got? We saw. Did you see I thought this was a non-entity, but the reveal of Boyd Holbrook's villain from Logan. I thought the pictures were cool, but I didn't think it was much of a reveal. We just saw the guy sitting in a truck. But did you guys see these pictures for Logan?
I saw one of them, and
the arm cut off.
The hand holding the shotgun cut off. I was like, yeah, that's a step in the right direction for Logan. I like that.
Well, and it's like what they're like. Oh, now it's going to be rated R because his arm was cut off. I'm like, come on. I mean,
I hope this is really good. I hope it's really good, but we've talked
I'm
about
worried
this a
now
lot.
that they're overstuffing it.
Yep,
There's
they
talks
are
about a lot of characters.
Yep.
I don't know if we're gonna get a good enough story here for that, especially if you're gonna throw in Sinister and stuff. So you're throwing in Sinister, who I love.
Right.
One of my favorite X-Men villains, one of my favorite Marvel villains, Mr. Sinister. I mean, those, especially in the 90s cartoon series, like, he was phenomenal. And I'm still upset that he is not the villain for Cyclops and Jean. That's the villain that they should be working with.
Right.
It's probably the villain that they should have used for X-Men Apocalypse instead of Apocalypse.
Yeah, right. No, that would have been perfect.
Going with Sinister, with them getting together and kind of building that a young, and then you could come back with Apocalypse and do Apocalypse right, because they clearly didn't.
Right.
But throwing him in here, I understand, because then you get the ties to X-23, and I think that's where they're going. They're trying to hand over the torch to an X-23 film.
Yep.
Well, my problem with X-23 is this movie is supposed to be in 10 years in the future from today. So if X-23 is that supposed little girl who's holding his hand,
where is this putting it?
Get
Well, you know what? They've got a time issue. They've got a huge time issue since they've been doing this First Class thing and everything. Like, I love that First Class movie. I loved the next one. How they're skipping a decade each time. You start realizing people's ages are getting a little funky really fast. And the fact that Logan has looked the same through all of them, and I go, okay, well, that makes sense for the comics. But now this movie is 10 years from now, and he's old?
Well, it's not.
How did he age so much?
He's more gray. He's just gray. That's it. It's just a gray. I don't think, because there were some pictures. There's a lot of pictures out there that are fake. So like, be wary of them. I think he'll have some gray, but he had some gray in Apocalypse. Was it Apocalypse? No. Days of Future Past, when they went to the future, you saw gray in his hair. I don't think it was. Right. The old man Logan that everybody's just like hoping and praying for. It's all gray and there's this big ruffled, beaten down person. It's not going to happen.
Hit by a truck.
What's the one where he goes they put him in the machine and take some of his powers? That Japanese guy that saved his life. That's
the
what?
Wolverine.
That's the Wolverine. So I mean, did they set that up at that time of that in his timeline that maybe his powers are waning a little bit or not? So that
because they at the end of that one is when they went to Days of Future Past. So like, again, to quote Sean, who is on the Leave Geeks podcast, and I really think hates these X-Men movies. It's a continuity issue with this series, that things aren't lining up and making sense. Because if you take Days of Future Past, he goes back and travels back at that point and changes the timeline, which is fine. I like the idea of doing that and then soft rebooting going forward. But I think what killed that was then having him waking up in the future and seeing Xavier and Jean and Cyclops and Beast and all of them alive again.
Yep.
And it just doesn't fit with like you said, Rob, they've
got continuity problems like crazy coming up. They've already had them, but they've been able to skate them, but they've got a problem. And the other problem they have, and I've said this before, is the fact that they used him as Logan in those other movies. Now you've established he's the same character in all of them. When you go forward and you recast it, it's going to seem really, really weird. You have to, after the Logan movie, you have to reboot hard.
Yeah, I think they are. Well, the problem with rebooting hard is what are they doing with Deadpool? You know, because they've established him, and Deadpool looks like to be their new flavor. You know, everything before Deadpool is Wolverine. You can't do a movie without Wolverine. You can't. I mean, and they proved it that they could with
Deadpool.
First Class, even though he just had a cameo in First Class,
right?
A very small cameo. But the thing with First Class was it didn't make the bank. I think it made like 140 million.
Right.
Which, I mean, is not terrible, but if you look at, what they're expecting, what X2 did, even X-Men 3, I mean, actually for a while there, even though that movie is terrible, it had like this opening weekend numbers for that, and then, started coming back to earth because the movie was terrible. There's value there, but they don't know what they're doing with it. They're really messing up their value because they do need Wolverine. They do need a reboot, but then what are they doing with Deadpool sequel with Cable? What are they, they're about the new mutants. And maybe that's the route they go, that they just, after this, the entire universe we've known, Cyclops, all characters are gone. And they're going to focus on these stories, this runs out. And then maybe that's where the reboot comes in. Instead of X-Men, they call them the Uncanny X-Men. That's how you reboot it. I don't know. But the problem also is at the end of Apocalypse, we finally get them in their suit, and we kind of want to see that. Even though I didn't care for them as much, I didn't care about that Jean, that Scott, but I want to see it. I want to give them that chance in their suit and their new roles. I think it relied, again, the best scene in that movie was Wolverine.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
So I don't know.
All right. Soapbox. All right.
This is your X-Men moment with a little Tuesday.
Right. What other news do we have? There was a lot of stuff.
How about Westworld? Because we haven't taped since Westworld started.
Oh my gosh,
oh my
good?
God, is that awesome?
Did you watch it, Alil?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, dude, you
have
to.
no idea how great it is.
Fantastic.
I'm watching baseball.
All the hype is real. It's so good. Yeah, man. Westworld is amazing. It's killing me, man.
Well, I mean, number one, the cast is fantastic.
Yes.
And obviously the premise is that some of the actors are robots, or some of the people are robots, and the characters and all that stuff. But it's Rachel Evanwood. Is that how you say her name? I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I want to know what is up with her, because it's awesome. And I want to see where this is going to go, because, not to give spoilers, but by the end of the second, there's going to be some blank going on.
Yeah, so. Everything going on is interesting to me right now. Like, I'm just going, I'm just trying to figure it all out. And the thing is, I know the original movie. I know the premise and everything. So
Sure.
that part of it isn't what's, getting me. It's the way they're doing this show. They've constructed it really, really well.
Well, I mean, and Crichton, this was one of his first books. I mean, from 73 or something like that? I mean, so this is 40-something-year-old material. And to make it relevant like this, and I mean, to bring it, like science fictionally and technologically wise, bring it to the speed that it's at and bringing it up to that future is unbelievable. So
yeah, unbelievable. It's so good.
They're just, I want to see where this goes and what's going to happen. So
yeah. Well, they kept saying, we got another Game of Thrones on our hands. I think they do, man. And especially when I'm watching it, I don't know about you, but I'm going, I know that this is only one world. They've only referred to Westworld, but we know from the mythology there's Future World, and I think Troy and Aaron
Future World isn't part of the Future World is not part of
that theme park.
Of that theme park, because Future World is after. There's medieval land. There's a medieval one. There's like a one about the Revolutionary War time. There's this one, and then I can't think of the other one. I want to say it's like almost like Victorian. But the Future World is set later. Future World is the Peter Fonda, the Peter Fonda.
Right. They did the later one. Yeah. But
right.
Do you think that is do you think the entire run of the series is going to stay in Westworld? Or do you think they are going to branch out and we're going to find out things about these other lands?
I don't know.
Because if they have the other lands, then that we've seen the guy who created all of this, and it's this update that they're not going to be able to come back from so easily. This is the update that's caused all the commotion.
Well, I want to know who of all the people we see is real and is not real, because I think we're going to be shocked by that in the long run.
Don't you think that there were times even in the pilot where I'm watching it going, what if that guy is a robot? Like, what if we find out that these people are all there? What if we find out that the creator guy is one? Like, he replaced himself with that, but nobody knew.
Right.
Just love it.
Oh yeah, it'll be fantastic when it happens.
Yeah.
So when we find out, because there's too many what ifs. There's just too much possibility. So, and Anthony Hopkins is just
oh my gosh,
he's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Let's see what else. Guy Ritchie is in talks to direct a live action version of Aladdin. Okay, Jungle Book's amazing. They have been knocking it out of the park with these live action adaptations, but there's something about when I hear some of these where I'm like, do we really need a Guy Ritchie Aladdin movie? Do we really need Dumbo by Tim Burton? That one I think is going to be rough.
I don't know, man. I think Guy Ritchie will be good because I think he's a good director.
I do too, but do we need him doing
like that?
Do we need him doing this? I don't know. I don't know.
They're making a run on it until it doesn't work. I mean, they're looking for whatever they can squeeze out of these properties that they own.
Yeah,
because
true.
It's obviously much cheaper for them to do Aladdin because they own it already
Well, and they
pay
can do
somebody for a new
sequels,
script.
and I mean, look at they can just keep going. They're doing a sequel to Jungle Book. It's like jump right on it. You've got a property here that's going to work. Make another one, and it's going to work. So I get that. I don't know. This is not one that struck me as so necessary yet. Did you hear the other thing? To me, this was big. The script leaked for Mulan. Did you hear about this? Because they're doing a live action Mulan. Okay, the script came out this week. It leaked. And in the script, the focus, the main character, the hero of the story should be who?
I don't know the story, so you have to tell me.
What's the name of it?
Mulan.
Mulan is the main character. It's the story of a woman or she's actually like a teenage girl who wants to fight in the army, and she pretends she's a boy so she can fight to avenge her father. And it's a great movie. I know you're not big on animated stuff, but it's a great story. I actually thought, wow, a live action movie sounds great. This is a case where I thought this would work. But what they've said is the leaked script, the main character or the character that's the savior is a white guy.
Played by Tilda Swinton.
This is a Japanese story.
Right.
Why? Maybe it's Chinese. I can't remember. I might be completely wrong on that. I can't remember. I think it's Japanese. But why? Why are you putting a white guy in it at all? Number one, and why are you making him the one that saves Mulan? Because that's what the script read like from what they said. I am so tired of that.
Yeah,
that's
they're
ridiculous.
Not making good choices on that,
now,
so.
That's got to be a Disney property. I'm really surprised Disney would do that move.
Well, they've always, I mean, even though they put ethnicity in their cartoons, they've made them pretty vanilla, if to use that term is right. I think.
Yeah, but don't they know? Don't they?
Think
about it with their cartoons. They've known how important it was to have. We need a lead female Asian character, so they do Mulan. When you get to the live action thing, don't they realize we need to be true to that, and we need to have a live action Asian character?
And it's not like there aren't plenty to choose from.
Well,
it's not like there isn't that person out there. I mean,
right.
If they had to fill a Martian, they could fill a Martian with somebody, with anybody. But yeah, I know they could do it.
So that to me was really disappointing. Let's see, what else did we see?
Hopefully they'll take the feedback and run with it. So
yeah, I hope so. I think this is one of those cases where it's like the leaked script might be the blessing that saves us from a real train wreck, because I want to see something true. Did you ever see the movie Hero?
Yes.
The Japanese film?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to do. That was a Japanese film. Tarantino produced it to bring it to America. It had Jet Li in the lead. I thought that movie was great. And that is a Japanese folktale, or, supposedly real. But when you watch it, you realize it's a tall tale. A lot of what they said happened. Same thing here. Tell this story the way they told that. You know what? You could even make it subtitled. I know they wouldn't do that, but that's the movie I want to see. Make it a Kurosawa Mulan. I would be so in for that. Oh my gosh, my head would explode.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
So the Emoji Movie is getting James Corbin, Alana Glazer. There have been images. Have you guys seen the images from the Emoji Movie?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, let me be the first to say, no, I don't ever want to see this. The
You'll be
picture,
there night. This is great.
So the picture has a smiley face that looks like Pac-Man. It has a hand that's supposed to be the high five, but it's got a Band-Aid on its fingers. There's going to be some, wackiness with that. It's got a female emoji that's supposed to be like a smiley face, piece of poo. And he's going to be your wacky, and
poop emoji.
Yeah, and TJ Miller is in it. Let me guess.
He's the poo.
He's got to be the poo, right?
Yeah.
I am.
Or the I love you sign, the not good one.
I'm not interested, man. I am not interested. It sounded like a bad idea from the beginning. Oh, and it gets worse. You know what the name of it is? It's not just the Emoji Movie. That's the title, but it's Emoji Movie : Express Yourself. This is just, it makes me want to just.
Does that mean they're going to use the Madonna song for the title track?
Oh, you know it. And they'll probably have a thing, like my guess is at the end of the movie, where it shows the emojis all dancing to Express Yourself.
So the Ewok song. That'll be great.
Only it's not going to be Madonna doing Express Yourself. It'll be like Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber doing Express Yourself. It's going to be something awful. Awful. You know it, right? And little kids are going to be all over this. It's going to be like they're going to want like everything emoji, like emoji pajamas.
They already do.
Oh.
They love it. They love the little, but they have emoji pillows.
Terrible. Do they have the poo?
No, we bought the poo for Jenny's sister, so they love it that we gave.
They bring that themselves, right? The poo.
People do realize that is poo, right?
Right, and I gave Jenny's sister poo, so I was happy. Merry Christmas. Here's poo.
The only poo I want to give at Christmas is a Mr. Hanky. And here you go.
I'll give you a real one, though.
No, I don't want a homemade one.
I'll put the Mr. Potato eyes and stuff in it.
It's Mr. Stanky when it comes from you.
Yeah. I don't remember eating corn. Let's see. What else do we have?
Hey, did you see that Patrick Warburton has been cast in Tick, but they haven't said what his role is going to be?
Oh, you mean... So, yeah, Amazon picked up the Tick.
You know what? The costume looks terrible. I'm sorry.
It does. It was
It looks so bad.
It was so good on the show. But have you watched it? Have you watched the pilot on Amazon? I heard it was really good.
I'm sure it was, but I can't get past the costume.
Yeah, it looks weird because the costume that Warburton was in on the show at Fox was the best. And remember how like the antenna moved like independently? It's the greatest. That was perfect casting. That was a great costume. Yeah, I think this one looks weird.
Amazon will pull it out, man. They'll do something.
I gotta watch it though because I'm telling you, I loved the cartoon. I love the comic book. I loved that live action show. It's one of those properties I'm like, they haven't done wrong by it yet. So I hope it's great. I wonder though, do they have like, cause you know, in the comic book, they had characters, like one specific character was American Maid. They changed her. It was a maid that wore like, you know, red, white, and blue. So it was Captain America, but a maid. In the cartoon, did they name her Miss America?
I can't remember.
But then when they did the live action one, they made her a completely different character. She wore like gold, but it was the same thing. I hope they go back and they do the source material because there'd be nothing better than the man-eating cow showing up on this. Chris, it's a cow and it eats people. It's amazing. And it just stands there and moves and he's like, I know there's a villain here. That's so great. Enough TikTok.
With Cuddy. It's going to be great. You know.
Yeah, and Putty will be on it again. He was on the TV show. Yeah, that's right. I'm a face painter. Yeah. The teaser for John Wick 2, that movie can't happen soon enough for me.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Yeah, and it was in the last couple months that I finally saw John Wick, and I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait. The sequel looked really hot. I think it's going to be great. And what about
the end of the teaser?
It's the end of the teaser.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Morpheus and Neo are back together.
Yeah, no, you know what? My brain shut down at that point. Like, nope, I can't take any more goodness here.
Is Joe Pantangeli's going to be in it too?
Yeah,
I think he is.
That would be great because he's in every movie. So
yeah, just make.
Well, he was. He hasn't been in everything lately.
No, he actually made some money. I think he said screw it. So
right.
I'm gonna chill for a while.
Yeah,
he's Netflix and chilling
until Goonies 2 comes.
He'll be back. He's really nasty people, the Pirellis.
Ben Affleck brings back Daredevil. Wasn't he in Daredevil?
Wasn't a Daredevil Affleck movie.
Yeah. So when Affleck, finally gets the mojo together and can, get a superhero movie made, maybe he'll do that.
What about his new movie, that Accountant? Does that look freaky or not?
I think that one looks pretty cool.
I do too.
Now this has to be one he directed, right?
No, he didn't direct it.
Really? So this is because it seems like unless he's directing it, it's kind of contract obligation. Other than Batman, but Batman was a lobby to get to direct a Batman movie, guaranteed. Because as soon as things went sideways on that, he jumped right in. They had him signed. He was directing. He's controlling things. That was absolutely the plan from the beginning. He may have even looked at the script and gone, "Yeah, they're not going to bail on this character. This movie's going to be terrible. It's my time to shine."
Yeah, The Accountant's directed by Gavin O'Connor.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I.
No, it looks good though. I mean, a dude with OCDs and who's a killer. It's good.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
So
let's see.
Anna Kendrick.
Gavin O'Connor directed Miracle, Tumbleweeds, Pride and
34th
Glory.
Street, that was awesome.
What?
Kidding.
Shut up.
You fool. Miracle was a phenomenal sports movie. Sports. And Warrior, he directed.
Actually, I liked Miracle quite a bit. I thought that was a really good film. That's the Kurt Russell one, right? Yeah, Kurt Russell. He's the hockey coach.
In Miracle, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Oh,
I love sports movies. I just don't love to watch sports.
he was actually really good as Herb Brooks. He was really good as Herb Brooks. Oh, sorry.
Phenomenal.
That was your first.
What the hell?
Get the music.
Well, Chris.
Yeah, sorry. Something clicked
Chris,
on.
we didn't pay for that music. Take it off.
10 seconds. Cut it
Somebody
out.
might take the 10 cents we've made.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
So they fined you $20 million, but we made nothing. Oh, you made less now.
So we got a teaser we got a trailer for the new Pirates of the Caribbean. What'd you guys think?
It was all right. They're going a little darker with it. No Johnny Depp. We'll see. They also put out a little launch poster of him. I mean, it's all right. It's what's expected at this point for these movies.
No, that's a real poster for He's Wanted in France, I think. Of him.
Stop it.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't see the last one. I heard the last one was good. The third one was so god awful that I have not been able to bring myself to watch that fourth one. This one kind of looked like the same stuff. It looks like it's probably a good time, but I thought the villain looked pretty good. But you know what? They're all kind of the same thing. The first movie's the best one. That's a fantastic film.
Yeah, because you don't expect it. I
Right.
mean, you don't, and then it's like, well, the second one, we're still hanging on, and then by the third one, you're like, Because I
think they had a good base story for the first one. They had a good villain.
Yeah.
They had a good cast because it wasn't. Here's the problem. What happened was that movie Jack Sparrow blew up. He was basically a supporting character. It really was an ensemble cast.
Right.
Then with how popular Captain Jack and Depp got from that movie, they shoved him down your throat for the rest of the series.
Right.
And
they forced it because, like, it shouldn't all be Jack Sparrow, even though, okay, if you're going to have him be a main character, it's got to be the three of them. But we keep losing the secondary characters, and it all focuses on Jack.
Right. And that's why it was
and
great.
He's a character. He's a goofy character. That's
like if they would have done the one, is it the third one that they get Keith Richards in?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, if they would have done one with him being more the main guy, I could deal with that, but you're right. There was just too much of him being a goofball. It's like you couldn't do a future, you couldn't do a series of movies about Benny Hill because he gets sick of him running around. But you could do a little bit of him, and I think that point's a very good one.
Well, it kind of makes it like if Seinfeld had in the second season decided it's all going to be about Kramer because he's so popular, and then eventually Jerry's not even there, and then he's back, and then like that would have that's the same kind of feel. This is the character in the ensemble. Yes, he's great. Yes, he does a great job, but and we're getting his story throughout, but I don't think it should be the main story. And it kind of feels like, oh, he's pissed off another pirate. Another one's coming after him. It's like, okay, but it looks cool.
How about pissing us off as an audience? You did a good job of that. So.
But the last one made a ton of dough, didn't it?
Not here. Internationally, it did well. The last one wasn't bad. The last one was, I thought I enjoyed the story a bit more than I did the second and third. Because to me, the second and third are kind of one movie. They
the second one doesn't have much of a story, but it's visually interesting, like kind of fun to watch. The third one has a lot of cool visuals, but it has no story. It's garbage. It's like a root canal.
It's a continuation. It's the continuation of that.
It is, but it's a root canal, man. They could have cut an hour out of that movie and made it a lot better.
Well, if they combined the two and cut maybe 2 hours, and
that'd be awesome.
We would have probably had a better pirate movie.
They could have gotten rid of the part where he goes, "Why'd you say that name?" That would have made it so much better.
Is Michael Parks in this? Is this Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2?
Shut up.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with Kill Bill. There is not a moment that should be taken out of that. Love Kill Bill.
Okay.
Oh, stop it. A little.
That is one.
I could argue that Kill Bill probably could have been one movie.
It should be one movie.
Combined. Like,
it should be one 4-hour movie. It's awesome.
Yeah, but he can't have his 10-minute views of her laying in a coffin. I mean, come on.
Love it. I love the whole thing. I've watched it so many times.
Big toe.
Love
fantastic.
it.
I'm going to buy that truck.
You and Donald Trump.
I was just about to say.
Yes.
Oh, shut up.
That was a race to that joke. So Ash versus Evil Dead, we mentioned it when you were not on a little, but it got renewed for a third season. That's
a shocker.
Yeah, people love this show. I've only watched the first episode, and I'm a big Ash fan. Baby got Ash, you know. I am going to.
It's cheap for them. It's 10 episodes,
and it's
half
great.
hour.
I love that first episode. I'm like, I just need to sit down and binge this thing because I didn't want it to end. So a third season, bring it. Eventually, I'll watch. Make it 20 seasons. I'll just keep watching and binge. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually dare say it's groovy.
So.
You know me. I'll sit there and watch Bruce Campbell do anything.
Yeah.
You can read children's books and I will be mesmerized by the amazingness that is Bruce Campbell.
That's right. It's
Who's
true,
the king,
though.
Baby. That's all you want. You want to see the chin. You want to see the profile.
It's
true.
Groovy.
My favorite commercials on TV that I used to rewind were his Old Spice commercials.
Those were so good.
So good.
Yeah, he's excellent. Let's get him in as a guest. Well,
Okay.
before he had this show, he was probably cheap. Now he'd cost us something.
Yeah, because he's doing all the Wizard World cons.
Yep. No longer can we afford
Come on,
Bruce Campbell. Before
He
we could have
sees
bought
the
him a
dollar
Coke.
signs, and I don't blame him because he's finally banking what he should have because he's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd take the money if I could.
I'm not picking on him for that. I'm glad he is. Believe me, I have more Bruce Campbell autographed merchandise than most people. I have 3 of his books, movie posters, figures.
Even his mom doesn't have all that.
You have body parts autographed by him that you haven't cleaned.
I have
so.
clothing he's worn, old underwear.
Now, you've met him in person, right?
Multiple times, yes.
Yeah. I sat next to him in a movie. You ever do that?
I sat right by him in a movie when we screened Evil Dead, the Evil Dead 2 at Woodfield Theater.
Oh.
Day, and I got the first. It was like the culmination of a Lil's geekdom because me and Jenny went to go meet him. I picked up his book. I met him. He signed the "If Chins Could Kill" book for me.
Is that a euphemism for something?
Yes.
No, I was wearing a Spider-Man like button-up shirt kind of thing.
Dude.
What? I was a lot thinner back then. It did not look bad. And he said that he really liked my shirt. And he's like, "You'll find out soon why." And I'm like, "Are you in Spider-Man?" You know. And then all of a sudden, what happens? During the previews, I got the first look at the Spider-Man movie, the Tobey Maguire one. It was the 9/11.
Yeah.
9/11, but the center spiderweb one, and
Yeah.
I almost passed out. My Jenny, who wasn't my wife, at the
Jenny
time,
pulls out the
Did you
defibrillator.
squish it?
Again?
she's just like, pick your chin up. She's like, close your mouth, close your mouth, close your mouth.
Stop trying to make out with Bruce Campbell. I can't help it, Jenny. I'm so excited.
I love you, Bruce.
Bruce, do you want some popcorn? No, I saw what you did to that bucket.
I do. I
I'm
love.
hot buttered a Lil. They call me hot buttered for a reason.
Oh, well, hold on. I got to go throw up everything I've ever eaten. Hold on. Gross.
He's a handsome man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And you've tasted the hot butter a little.
I have at the con. Yeah.
Oh God,
It's a great drink.
it is. It's fantastic.
So,
It's fantastic. So
what
okay,
haven't we hit? We've got to switch over to YouTube in a second.
we do? They showed another trailer for The Wall where there's monsters.
Yeah.
This is getting better. I don't know how it's gonna go, but Matt Damon and monsters could be pretty good for me. So
Yeah. It looks cool. I just don't know. It's going to be fine. We're going to like it. I'm just a little afraid. You know what I'm afraid of? That Keanu Reeves movie happening again.
which one?
The one where he's the ninja guy or whatever.
Ronin?
Yeah.
Yes. Where it's like Ronin, the 47 Ronin is not a story about a white guy. And the Great Wall is not a story about a white guy. And it just seems a little like we might be watching it and at the end go, that was really off the mark. Or we might watch it and go, doesn't matter, it was awesome, and Matt Damon kicked butt. Now, it is an Asian film company that made it. So they hired Matt Damon because he's a name and he's going to sell tickets for them. So we can't be too like, hey, they're whitewashing. No, they did it. They wanted this.
They
But
whitewashed themselves.
So
Yeah.
they whitewash themselves. It's okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't complain about it. I don't think you can.
No, probably not. I mean, I don't blame them.
Who made the decision.
Yeah,
on
$6.
who to
I know what
hire.
you're
Right.
talking about.
Right. If it, you know what, I hope that it's killer because I think we're going to really like it. But there's also that tinge of, we could end up watching it, and even though they made the decision, we could watch it and go like, that was a really weird decision. But I got to
Isn't
say,
somebody good
Matt Damon's a
directing
good
it?
time. So,
Matt Damon.
will he
And
ever
this whole
come
thing
out
with him
from
and
under that?
Kimmel?
I mean, he's friggin' Bourne, and he's great in Bourne.
I
And
know.
all
I
we can
love
do is,
it.
and all we
I
can do
love
is
Matt
Matt
Damon,
Damon.
but I gotta do it. I love him. I really do. I don't think there's a Matt Damon movie that I've watched that I have not liked. To me, I know this will be, people will be like, what are you saying? To me, he's the anti-Leo. I've never liked Leonardo DiCaprio.
Are you kidding me?
Kidding me?
Get out of here.
Don't like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh,
See,
And I love everything Matt Damon has done.
yeah.
can I like all of them?
I mean, there's movies of Leo that I like, okay? But I just don't like him.
Yeah, but his dad was a comic book guy.
So what?
His dad, like, he was a total geeky comic book kid. And his whole thing was like trying to bring, like, he actively tries to bring those properties into the fold in Hollywood.
Who does?
Leo!
I don't. What do you mean? Leo turned down comic book roles.
Right, because he wants them done right. He's very picky about them. But then he's the one that pushed for, what's that one, Battletech or one of those things, Robotech. He's trying, here he's this Oscar winner and he's like, next thing I want to do is Robotech. It's like, that's commitment to geekdom, man.
Yeah, I still don't like him. I just don't.
All right.
You're
Leonardo
jealous.
DiCaprio, send your hate mail to the League of Geeks. That's Geeks with a Z.
That's
you know what?
fun.
I'm going to end it because we got to get on YouTube. We're going to go do our live show now. Thank you for listening, everybody. Alil, give your social media real quick.
You can follow me at the League of Geeks, and that's Geeks with a Z at LOGEEKZ.
And Chris Mao, give yours.
Yeah, you can find me at theblueboxcafe.com or Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media.
And I'm Rob Southgate. Find me at rsouthgate. Find this show on Twitter at SMG_TWIG. So Southgate Media Group _ This Week in Geek. Find us on YouTube. Just look up Southgate Media Group. We have an after show that we do live on Monday nights there. So you can watch us and chat with us there. We hardly stay on topic like we do on this show. Yeah, man, just follow us on Facebook. Follow us on everything. Rate and review us. That helps so much. And get on our email list, too, because there's so much stuff coming up. We want to keep you informed. I'm hanging up. Guys, thank you. I will see you on YouTube. Bye.